Behind me is the pump house for wells 4 and 5. Now, this is Dick Bartlett Park, and those of you who play baseball and do other activities here, go to the skateboard park, etc., would have noticed here in the corner there's always been this small block building here, but you would have also noticed in the last little while there's a fence put up here, there's been a bunch of work, and now it's a bit bigger. The reason for that, they have a genset here. What a genset is a generator that if the power should go off, we have power and we still have water flow. The city invited the public out here for an open house, a show and tell. When I got here, I could see a classroom going through. I had some words with the mayor and the city manager and Graham Watt, who's our local expert on the watershed here. I'll let you listen to those right now. How do you feel this has gone today?
Well, I think you know, the turnout's been slow with adults, but we've had a lot of children through, and it's been worthwhile. We've been able to spend some time with anybody that's dropped through and explain some of the detail to them, so it's gone well.
Okay, given the recent controversial issue, single issue related to water, how do you feel it went? Were there more people here today asking more questions about different things?
They are asking, they're putting together the picture that we're painting here in terms of why we needed to do this and how this actually saved the city building a large reservoir up on Observation Mountain on the other side of us here that would have cost around $6.5 million. So the questions are, why didn't you do this earlier, which is a good question when, you know, on the books for a number of years was the reservoir option, but with diligence from engineers, it was pointed out to us that we were not looking seriously at an option that was right in front of us, which was to put in these generators that allows us to satisfy the requirements of the pressure flows for the fire safety and allow the insurance rates to remain at a good level, at a reasonable level for the people in this area.
Well, so the water meters come in the next 2 years. You're going to be doing a billing cycle over the next year to figure out how it works. When is the first water meters going to be installed? People are asking that. So.
I think the installation of water meters could be happening within the next few months here in Grand Forks.
Okay.
The company will be coming in and taking a look at some of the preliminary volunteer houses that are ready to have the installation. There'll probably be some incentives for some of the first volunteers and that come forward, and clearly, you know, once we've established the installation in houses where people can go and look at it, it's going to be far easier to satisfy concerns than when we're simply talking on paper.
Thank you very much. Any last words you'd like to give the public? Okay.
Lovely day, Les. Thanks for coming out.
Okay, thank you. So, Graham Watt.
Hi Les, how's it going?
Not too bad. You're being teacher today.
Oh, just for a moment anyways.
So,
yeah, I think he did rather well, didn't he?
Yeah. So how's it been? It's been a good
yeah. There's a couple classes that came through here. There's one bigger class earlier, 5-6. They weren't as interested in things as the little kids here. Not as animated. I think they were moving on to other priorities, I'm not sure.
Getting to that age where they know everything.
Exactly.
So, how many people would you figure have gone through here today?
Well, including the kids, were, you know, probably over 40 kids that came through with the two classes. Probably 10 or 15, 10 to 20 public. There's been a few people that have come off and on throughout the time here, and then a fair number of city staff actually have been here as well.
Good. So how do you think your message is being received?
It depends on which message that we're working on. I'm strongly in favor of looking at all of the water conservation options, including metering, and really taking a close look at what will work for us and that kind of thing. The bottom line is that, you know, every drop of water that we use here is water that's not going back to the river. Right. So we're making a trade-off. So if we find that education and that kind of thing doesn't work, and it won't work when a drought comes on really quickly and the river level goes down very quickly. When we find that education isn't quick enough, you know, what options are we going to have for conserving the water? Are we going to be able to turn off the tap in time? That's something that I worry about. I think that people are very interested to learn about where their water comes from and learn about patterns of flow and that kind of thing, and I always enjoy sharing that kind of information.
So I'm curious, from the comments and questions you've had from people here today, how would you gauge their awareness, their informational levels about what is really our aquifer and where our water comes from and how much we have, etc.?
I think one of the problems that we face is that we have a belief that the aquifer is limitless, that will never run out. I think in our lifespans, with the population that we have, we probably couldn't tap it dry. If we use too much water at one level, we'll just drill a deeper well. That stands for the middle part of the aquifer. Other parts we could actually, you know, the eastern part of the aquifer is fairly shallow. But even so, I don't think we'll actually run the aquifer dry itself with our population. The problem is that when the aquifer is being drawn down, that's water that's coming out of the river in the late summer. And so people have to get over this idea that we have limitless water and need to start looking at how much is brought in every year and how much we're affecting the late summer flows. I've looked at the data recently and found that over the last 80-90 years, there has been a downward trend in the level of really low flows. So that period in late August, early September, when you have hardly any water in the river, the amount of water in the river at that point has been going down. Even though there's no long-term trend in annual flow, the low flows are getting lower. And that's something that's really worrying. That shows me that we actually have to pay a bit better attention.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Better forest management.
Roger Houston, you're our new manager of operations here in the city, and you're not the only new item we have in the city. Apparently this thing behind you is brand new, is that true?
That's correct. The generator was installed last year, and it's capable of power outage and running for 24 hours in case of a power outage.
So we won't run out of water for at least a day.
That's correct. And that's all based on a full tank of diesel.
Okay.
So that's obviously we can...
and what flow, what usage rate would that be for what time of year?
Any time of year this is going to kick on when there's a power outage.
Okay.
But it's capable of running, we've got two pumps here. Yep. Well 4 and 5.
And both the wells are in this vicinity?
They're in this vicinity, and they all get their treatment process through this pump house here.
And when you say treatment, that's the chlorination?
Chlorination, that's correct.
And that's a relatively new, 5 years or so since it's been doing that, apparently?
That's right, about 5 years now that the city's been chlorinating their
Okay.
entire distribution system. And this generator will be capable of running both the pumps.
Okay. And that's supplying, that's two of the, how many pumps do we have?
We have 5, so that's 2. It would be probably, this is our largest pump here, and then the other one's a medium-sized one, so it would be capable of maintaining the system until the hydro got put back on.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
There you go, a new gen set for the pump house for wells 4 and 5. It's a good thing, really. If there was a fire and we lost power in the city, who knows why, but we would have safety. For at least a 24-hour period, they'd be able to put out fires. We'd have water to drink. At the pump house for wells 4 and 5 in Grand Forks, I'm Les for GFTV. So I can't show you the faces, but listen to this. This is the kids asking questions.
How big is the well itself? How big around is the hole in the ground? The hole in the ground is about this big. And how deep does it go altogether? It's 60 meters deep.
Whoa!
That's a deep hole.
Okay, listen and look again. We'll learn what this is.
Sure. This is a generator. You're thirsty, aren't you?
You need to be patient.
Yeah, this is a giant generator. it makes electricity. If our power poles go down, if we don't have any electricity in the city, we can make our own electricity. So you saw that big cord, that big plug-in?
Yeah.
This is going to supply the electricity through that cord into that big, into that well, so that we still have water even though we don't have power.
What happened if you put that little bit back on board?
I'm not allowed to
Silly
do
likes
anything,
buttons.
Yeah, the red ones too.
Hey, yeah, start to the
I
red
know
one.
who wants red one.
Yeah.
Red means that big machine.
So I missed, does it have diesel or some sort of fuel in it?
Yep, it's a diesel motor.
Diesel.
It's,
So it's silly. You have to put fuel in here, like
That's
a
right.
car, but
It looks like
diesel fuel.
Yeah,
It looks like a motor.
it is a
It is a
motor.
motor, Sonny, that's right.
Yep, it's a
Engine of a track.
Bigger.
That's exactly what it is. That's really clever. And then this is the generator, this part here. It
That's
spins
what makes the electricity.
and it makes the
They're
electricity.
going around as fast, 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 fast.
This is the fuel's actually in here.
Fuel. Can I have
Thank you. It's up to you. You can
what?
That could be your souvenir.
What is it?